Hey everyone, my name is Sandra. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I want to talk about how productivity and organization can help you succeed in your online business. So first of all, a lot of us talk about organization and productivity like it's something that we do every day that we have to have done in order to be successful. And I'm going to tell you right now that that's not always the case. Number one, both of these things are different for everybody. They look different, people organize differently, they're productive differently, and at the same time, they ebb and flow throughout your day. So, for instance, I'm much more productive and more energetic and motivated in the morning than I am at any other point in the day. And this doesn't matter with what I'm doing. It could be when I was studying for school, on my online business, or doing basically any task at all. The definition of being organized is basically having your crap together. And when I say that, the actual definition is the act of being organized, which basically doesn't tell you anything. So organization is just having everything in its place and knowing where it is at all times. Productivity is when you can put in as little effort as possible to get the most yield or the most work done. And so for a lot of us, it's really hard to achieve both of those things in every aspect of our daily lives. We're going to talk a little bit about how we can get those things to a point where you are putting in the least amount of effort for the highest amount of work possible and how that's going to help you succeed in your online business. I want to say that being organized does not always mean that you're productive and vice versa. So for instance, somebody could be super productive and not be a very organized person. And this again is different for every single person. For instance, you could wake up one morning and be super unmotivated and you could still be organized. You just won't get anything done and you will not be productive at all. So there's a very fine balance between all of these things. And being productive also means you're at your most efficient. So another thing too is how much effort you put into something doesn't always equal effective output or high productivity. In saying that, for instance, a good example is say you put in 10 hours of work on a video, including all of the editing and the planning and all of it, and you get no views. So a lot of it is dependent on many different things. So it's not just the amount of work you do equals what the effective outcome or what your goal is. So you have to account for all the necessary things before you can become a success in every aspect of your online business. Let's say, for instance, I'm creating an art project. One of my art projects can easily take 5+ hours, and I feel like it's a huge time investment to create something that takes that long because in reality, time is money. We want to get to a point in our online business that the item that we're working on is something that nobody else can do. And that's why, particularly if you're outsourcing, for instance. So the mundane everyday tasks like sending an email, paying people, or even editing a video, something that you can outsource where if I'm working on an art project, nobody else that I hire can do that for me. I'm the only one who can do that, and that's what's going to make your business special compared to somebody else's business. Depending on what you're selling and what you're trying to work on, that effort that you put into that project will hopefully pay off. And one of the problems I come across is art is a very creative process, and I really have to be in the mood to create certain types of art. I can't just all of a sudden wake up one morning and say, okay, I'm going to do this painting. I really do need to be in a specific mood for it. And another thing too is I'm actually going to be talking about the Pomodoro method and time tracking, but if I'm working on an art project, for instance, and it takes 20+ hours, a lot of times if I didn't have my kids to interrupt me throughout the day, I could easily get lost in my work and I could forget about the time and just get immersed in everything that I'm doing. And I have done that before. It is a known thing. Sometimes artists just get so immersed in what they're doing that they don't really think about anything else. And when I'm involved into something that I'm passionate about, sometimes that happens to me. But because I am a mom of two, I don't really get the option of doing that anymore. But when I was younger, I used to. The thing that I'd like to talk about are certain systems that you can establish in your routine to make sure that your life, your work, and everything around you is more organized and then makes you more productive. So, one of these systems is making routines for yourself. So, it is a known fact that the more you do something, the better you get at it, and then generally the faster you get at it. So, if you can reduce a certain task to take only a short couple of minutes compared to, half an hour, that means that you have become more efficient at that particular task. It is going to save you time if you can do it faster than somebody else, for instance. That means you can get more things done in that same time frame, making you more productive. So for instance, I'm most productive in the morning. I am a morning person. I usually get up at 6 o'clock every day, and I usually, as long as I have my coffee, I'm the most productive in the morning. I do have my morning plan and routine, so I usually do that first, and then I feed my daughter, and then I get started on my biggest task. And that usually works out to be something planner related or a video idea that I need to get down on paper. And I can usually just focus for 30 minutes and you can get a lot done in 30 minutes. So, an important thing is to give yourself rest breaks throughout the day, especially if you decide to have a full day of work. And one of the best techniques for doing something like this is called the Pomodoro method. So, there are different ways and different times that you can do, but one of the best ones is to work straight for 25 minutes. And when I mean work straight, I'm talking turn off your phone, set the timer for 25 minutes, but turn off, like put it on airplane mode or whatever you have to do so you don't get any phone calls, emails, or notifications. Make sure there's no distractions around you at all and sit down and work for 25 minutes. You will be surprised at how much work you can actually get done in those 25 minutes. And then once that 25 minutes is complete, give yourself a 5-minute rest break. And then if you want to do that throughout the day, you will become the most effective person that you know. So, another tip that I have included in my system of making a routine for myself is keeping an area neat and tidy. I've heard this termed as like a 10-minute tidy. So, if you take one of your breaks and turn it into a 10-minute tidy to see how much you can tidy in 10 minutes, around your desk area or wherever your workspace is, you can work so much better in a clean and neat work area. So, number one, you won't have any distractions because I know for myself that if I have an area that's really messy, I think in my head, well, if I just clean it up before I start working, I'll be that much more efficient. So then, instead of doing the work I originally planned on doing, I end up cleaning my desk for a couple of hours. And that is not efficient or productive at all. Well, let's rephrase that. It might be productive because at least I'm getting something done, but it's not the task that I had originally planned to do. So you have to be really careful with what's in your space and what's giving you the most sense of peace so you can actually get quality work done. In addition to not being distracted, the cleaner your space, the easier it will be to find the tools that you need. So then, in the end, if it's easier to find the tools that you need and you don't get distracted, this saves you time and then you get more done in that amount of time and you become more productive. Okay, so another tip that I love to kind of do myself is have a top 3, a top 4, or a top 5. Give yourself a limit so that you don't have this endless task list, because if you don't accomplish something throughout your day, you might get frustrated and you might start to feel like a failure, which is no good for anybody. So, if you have a top 3 of the most important tasks you need to get done in that day, do the most difficult one first. Again, I'm a morning person, so I like to do my hardest ones in the morning. But if you are a night owl or an afternoon person, do it whenever you feel like you're at your most productive. Another main tip that is really important is writing things down. So, this could be on paper, which is one of my favorite methods, but instead of just keeping your notes on random paper all over your desk, keep it in one main notebook so you know where to look to find those ideas or those notes. Another option is to keep everything digital, and I also use Asana and Trello. And there you can use an app on your phone and you can just quickly type in any brain dumps you might have or any notes. and then it's still all in one place, easily accessible, and you can pull it up in a minute's notice. Another very important tip is to kind of give yourself an outline the night before a big work day. So this is something that I do as part of my night routine. I do this every single night. I take out my bullet journal. I usually have a cup of tea while I'm doing this. I take out my bullet journal and I write a list of all the things I want to accomplish for the next day. So then when I come to my planner in the morning, I can see my list, and then if I have slept on it and thought about new things to add, I can easily do that. But I'm not wasting valuable time in the morning when I'm at my most productive doing some menial chore like writing out a task list for the day. It's already done, and that again saves me time and makes me more efficient at my most productive time of day. Another system that I want to talk about is scheduling. So you've already heard me speak on the fact that people are most productive at different times of the day. For me, it's in the morning, and I already know this, so I schedule myself and my day according to when I know I'm most productive. So now, for me particularly, I have a really weird schedule. My husband works 2 weeks at work. He works night shift, so on those days I can't get any filming done. So what I do is on his week off, I film 3 or 4 videos every single day, and then I've got I do about 12 to 14 videos in his 7 days off. So it doesn't work to be 3 videos every single day, but I try to do as many videos as I can. And this is something called batching. So batching is a process where you do the same task in a large amount of time because you're already in that streamlined flow of work and you're already in that mindset. So you're apt to be more productive and more efficient at that same task if you do the same thing for the entire period of time. This kind of works into the same thing, but you could also schedule yourself by hour. So if you get an hourly planner or you do this digitally, it doesn't really matter. But if you schedule exactly what you need to do in that time frame, then you will be most efficient as long as you can follow through. If you find that you're giving yourself too many tasks to do, you know that you've overscheduled and that you won't be as efficient because you're not going to get all of those tasks done, and then you're going to be frustrated and they're all going to have to be shifted to the next day. Another way to do this is to time track. What you need to do is write down all of the things that you do in one particular day, and then every single time you do that particular thing, track it. Time it on your phone or stopwatch or whatever you have, and always write down the amount of minutes or seconds or hours or however long it takes you to do that one task. Write it on paper, and it's best if you do it over the course of a week because then you'll know how long it takes you to do that thing, but you can do it every day and you can keep the days separate. What that information will tell you is how long it takes you to do a particular task. And you won't know if you're getting better at something or more efficient at something if you don't know how long it already takes you. So that is one of the best ways to figure out how long it's going to take you to do a certain task. And you'll actually be quite surprised. We underestimate all the time how long it takes to do something. So for instance, I'll write this huge list of things to do on any given day, and I'll only get maybe 4 or 5 of them done because I've underestimated how much time it's actually going to take to do all of those things. So in order to kind of pull back, track the things that you do, and then you'll have a realistic view of how long it takes to actually do them. Another system that works great for time management, which in effect makes you more efficient, is creating workflows or templates. So a workflow is basically just all the steps it takes you to do one particular thing. And for instance, I have this as well. I have a whole bunch of steps in my video creation process, and I have created a Kanban chart. So basically, I've got all the steps that I need to do to create content. So going from the planning to the video creation to the editing to the uploading and the details and the description and taking thumbnails. So all of these tasks are what gets me to the point of no video to a complete video. And that's basically a workflow. So I have that written down, and it's the same, it's almost the same for each video, but sometimes I do a voiceover, sometimes I don't. And that process has streamlined my entire video creation process. So just the fact that I have these simple things written down, I know all the steps I need to do until I've done it enough times that now I have it memorized. And at the same time, if I wanted to hire someone to do some of those steps for me, now they also know what steps are required to go from point A to point B. So the other thing is a template. So for example, with a grocery list, you know how you can get those grocery lists that are already pre-made and all you have to do is check off the item that you need that week? That's a template. If having something like that helps, what you could do is either do this digital or on a piece of paper, write down all of the groceries that you would buy ever, and then make a whole bunch of photocopies of it, and then that week just check off all the items that you need. Then that way you can send somebody else to go get your groceries, or you can order them and pick them up or get them delivered or whatever you need to do. But that makes your life so much easier rather than having to rewrite all of those items out again. As a matter of fact, I also do this on my iPad. So for instance, on my iPad, I use GoodNotes to write out all of the steps after I've done a video. So I will write down all of the makeup I've used in a particular video or all of the products so that I can enter it into my computer after, and I write it in the description box of YouTube. And so there might be links and things I want to add, or there might be particular timestamps that I want to add. And so that's where it all goes. So this kind of leads into another system, and that's automation. So I haven't got to this step yet because I feel like I don't really do that many things online. But for instance, if you could figure out a way, if you had somebody else do some work for you and you had to send it to somebody else, instead of having a middleman, you could always do something and set it up in a system to automatically notify somebody of that work being completed. So automation is great if you are online, but if you do things paper and pen, it's not as easy. But basically, automation is just eliminating the middleman or taking out steps so that it doesn't go from A to B and then B to C. It just goes straight from A to C. The last system I want to talk about, and this is also kind of a time management system, is day theming. So this is something that I've only really established into my own routine in the last 2 months or so. And I wanted to do it previously, but my excuse was that I have kids. And so I have tried it out and I love it, and it's really been working for me. So I'm going to show you here what it looks like when you theme your days. So ideally, I would have the weekends off, but in my case, because I'm just starting my business, I can't take every single weekend off. And my schedule is really different compared to working just Monday to Friday. So what I do is Monday and Thursday are editing days. Tuesday is a sticker creation day. Wednesday is my blog writing day. And then Friday is my website day. So I'll use that day kind of as a catch-all day or a catch-up day. So if I need to make more stickers or if I need to update my website with other photos. And then Saturday is my planning day and then also making more stickers. And then ideally Sunday is my day off. So my schedule is a little bit all over the place because I do have a lot of different things going on. And the busier I get, I feel like more things are going to jump in, creep up on me, and then eventually I'm going to get maybe not burned out, but I am going to get frustrated. And at that point, that's when you know you need to get help. You need to outsource some work, like the menial chores that just anybody can do. Those are my tips on how to make your business more successful by organization and being productive. So I hope these tips have helped you guys. A lot of these things are what I do in my day-to-day activities and my tasks, and they have helped me become such a more productive person. And then I get more work done for my business, doing the things I love to do and the things that are going to hopefully grow my business and make me more money. So I hope these tips have helped you guys. Let me know down in the comments if you do any of these and what kind of online business you have. If you establish any of these tips into your daily routine or weekly routines, let me know down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're new here, I would love if you would consider subscribing. And last but not least, click on that bell button to be notified every time I upload a new video. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.